All right, Kiss Army, welcome to the KissFAQ podcast. Thank you for giving us your time today and letting us into your head. I hope we don't do any damage. We're just a bunch of Kiss fans and we talk Kiss. So come along for the ride, you've got nothing to lose. Hey, good morning. I'm on the road, so I'm using the crap top to just record this quick message. I want to thank everyone who tuned in to the live episode on Saturday morning where we memorialized the departed Ace Frehley. It was a tough episode to want to press record or go live on at the beginning. It was one that I didn't know if I was going to be able to do. I mean, hosting it while juggling one's emotions while also reading everyone's emotions in the chat. Also, obviously, the emotions of the other guys on the panel. We really came together as a community, and I was very touched by the outpouring of love in that, live stream chat, on the broadcast itself, in the press, on the board, on Facebook, in a variety of communities. Watching Podcast Rock City episode was very touching. Watching Three Sides episode was very touching and meaningful. I haven't caught up on others yet. I know that they will be coming, but one thing I did want to do was we kind of bumper card on the conversation about the Dress to Kill Super Deluxe Edition box set. And the purpose of this video is just to separate that out as a standalone feature so that people who just want to see that are able to do so without clicking into the memorial for Ace. It's going to be a tough time for quite a while. But I think it's a small blessing, just a small one, albeit in this world of hurt right now, that there is new Kiss product that is going to be shipping on the 24th of October. And there's been a lot of anticipation building around that and what might be coming down the pipeline. And I think we can use it as audio medicine for a sad situation, to go back to 1975, to go back to Ace Frehley in particular, to focus in on his playing on the Dress to Kill tour, which is represented by Kobo and the Davenport Show, the demos from Larrabee, the remixes that have been created to augment the Disc 2 material, and the remaster, and for those who have it, Atmos sound, to really celebrate not only Ace, but Kiss. Because if you think that we as fans hurt, then just stop for a moment and think about Monique, Jeanette, Ace's brother and sister, wider family, close friends, and Ace had a lot of friends going back to his youth who he was still in touch with. Imagine how those people feel. Now also think about people like Jeremy, Ryan, all the other folk who've played, Scott, who've played with Ace over the years or who have worked with him closely in the industry. Eddie Trunk, John Five. I mean, the list is endless, and I'm not just going to sit here name dropping it. So let's bring it back around to the music to celebrate our departed spaceman. Here's the excerpt of just the box set feature from that episode. Oh, hey, you're still here, watching or listening. Why don't you hit that subscribe button or click the like one? And if you want even more, click on the join button on YouTube. Thanks for your support.
On October the 16th, we started the day off with joy. The announcement of the Dress to Kill Super Deluxe Edition. And then the day went downhill rapidly with the news about Ace. We're flipping that around. We're tossing that coin up. We're flipping it around, and we're starting off with Ace's sad news, and we're turning it back now just to wrap up this show with a little bit of a discussion about the announcement of the 50th anniversary Super Deluxe Edition of Dress to Kill. It's long overdue. It's currently available exclusively on Kiss Online. one of the things that's not been detailed that I am going to attempt to decipher. I've spent hours with this magnified trying to figure out what all the chotkeys and items are within the box set. So inside, obviously, it's how many? 107 tracks, 78 total unreleased. There's currently an error on streaming platforms with the second disc of Kobo missing from that. So don't worry, it is the full show. That does start with Rock Bottom. There's the original 1975, newly remastered by Bernie Grundman. Bernie Grundman, if you have not heard of his name, mastered Thriller, Purple Rain, Aja. He also worked with Asia, whatever. I don't. Asia. We had a dog.
It's a continent.
A lot of records.
Yeah, we had a dog in Scranton when I lived in a communal house, and it was Aja. So there we go. I'm not changing. So Bernie Grumman's also done Dr. Dre and Tupac. So he's got a broad, group of artists that he's mastered material for. I'm sure people know, other people like Robert Ludwig and Alan Zenz, but he's in a similar sort of category. 23 unreleased demos make up the second CD, including alternate mixes and studio outtakes. And if you're a member of the exclusive channel, I did a breakdown of that single that came out, and I'm calling some of them new mixes of old demos. 2 complete concerts, newly mixed by Eddie Kramer, Kobo 75, and the show 1 from the RKO Orpheum in Quad City. Blu-ray audio, including the 2 promo films newly transferred from 16mm film. These are non-Loomis, so they should be better. A 100-page hardcover book featuring new interviews from Gene and Paul, with lots of photos and lots of memorabilia. A new issue of the Gotham Rock City News, which is what I look forward to in particular. And then all these collectibles that we just streamed down my list I've made. A recreation of the 75 press kit and band bio, press photos, the Dress to Kill sticker. That's the thing with the golden border. Kobo ticket stub, New York State license plate. Let's see.
License plate. Wow.
Japan printout, Kobo Arena poster. Glossy photos, die cut magnet sheet, 4 band member double-sided coasters, hotel key fob. Now, see if anyone remembers why that might be in there. Album cover lenticular, bumper sticker. A die cut double-sided mobile. That comic at the bottom is the 1970. I thought it was 74, but I guess it's 75. Cream magazine comic, and that's a litho recreation of that. 2 iron-on patches, 4 prism foil buttons, and 4 white pearled guitar picks. And it's available on CD, which you can see here, and it's available on vinyl. And the vinyl version comes with a slip mat of the album cover, and the prices are actually, the vinyl pricing is brought way down. Versus what they were for the Creatures and Destroyer releases, which were after the fact. So what's your reaction to the content? Everyone was saying it was an Alive 50 box set coming out. Yeah, you guys are wrong. What's you want to guess, you got a 50-50 chance. Ken, start with you.
Yeah, it looks like they kept with the same theme of the prior 2 box sets and what they're providing with it, and but the most important thing I think is obviously the music and the stuff that we haven't heard. The remixed stuff would be interesting. Well, remastered too. Bernie Grudman, is known for his mastering, so I'm hoping that will be pretty darn good. It should be. I guess it's from the analog tapes, so from what it said too, which is surprising. But I'm looking forward to it. I don't, the prices. I think it's great that the price for the vinyl it's still kind of high in a way, but it's at least a lot lower than the prior 2 The prior two were
insane,
crazy, and you know what? And I don't know why they don't lower those now to try to match this, because they seem outrageous and they haven't come down in price. So it's just kind of crazy to me. So otherwise, it doesn't look like it's limited or anything. I think they have the picture disc. We didn't talk about the rest of it, but there's the picture discs, which they offered 1,000 now versus what they've been doing was 500. So they lasted into the second day of for people who didn't have VIP access. But there's a colored vinyl, which looks a little different too, which is an option also. I think it's limit 2 per customer. You can order 2 at a time. So yeah, I don't know. The vinyl doesn't say limited. Did it say limited, Julian? I don't think it said limited. So
sorry, that flew by too fast.
Yeah, but I think on that one, the vinyl one, I'm going to see if the price comes down a little bit, and it's a good chance I'll get it.
Let's see.
I got the CD version, so I'll just say that I bought the CD version.
That doesn't say
that's the color disc is different. Yeah, it's a little weird.
3,000 copies.
Yeah, the picture disc is already sold out, by the way, but the premium color vinyl limited to 3,000 units worldwide.
Right.
So, question from, I think it was Rodrigo, will it be available on stores on October the 24th? So that's another thing. So it went on sale on the 17th and is shipping on the 24th. So that's a super fast turnaround, which is very cool.
Fastest ever.
Considering how much waiting's been involved.
Yeah, been ready.
It is very cool. So is it going to be available in stores? I don't know. I've seen it available digitally on iTunes, Amazon Music, and on Qbaz, the high-density HD track sites. So at least digitally it's there, but the book is a big part of telling the story.
Like 100 pages of, I think.
100 pages of Dress to Kill for an album that was a rush job that didn't have a lot of additional material available for it other than, packaging it with live shows. That's a lot of content. Here's some of the other product that's just flying by quickly for those who can see it. T-shirts, sweatshirts, all the usual things are available. So, Mark, your take on it. Order now, Mark.
Well, I as you guys probably know, I attempted to get the Destroyer one. There was a huge brouhaha with DHL, and I didn't end up getting it from them. And I just said, fuck it, never bought a box set after that ever, including the Creatures one. But I did get the stuff digitally on like the music end of it and stuff. And good friends sent me copies of the Gotham News and that. So I didn't miss much of the stuff. I mean, but this is the one box set though, that the minute I saw it, and you might find this surprising, the minute I saw it, I have nothing bad to say about this box set. I think everything that's in it looks good, looks really well done. Bernie Grunman being involved in it, to me, it's 50-50. I mean, I love Bernie Grunman's work. He's done Pink Floyd records. He's done a lot of rock stuff that we're all very familiar with. All you need to know if Bernie Grunman's done it, look into Dead Wax. If you see a BG etched and by hand on there, Bernie Grunman has lacquered it. Doesn't necessarily mean he's mastered it, but he did lacquer cut it, right? But, the man's also in his 80s now, too. How good his hearing is now, who knows? But, still, I mean, his work is still well respected, so I think it's still going to come up good. Will I buy it on vinyl? Probably not, because to me, I still think it's pretty expensive for my price range, being a independent musician who has to pay for house bills as well as other things. But the CD box set is on my radar. Unfortunately, the only thing that makes me really cry, guys, about this is that I'm actually willing to pull the trigger on getting the CD, but Canada Post is on strike here. There's no way for me to probably get this now. So not because it's not limited, I'm not too worried about not being able to ever get it. But it looks like I'm gonna have to wait on getting this until they work out something with this. God knows when that'll be. And but in the meantime, I'll probably get the digital stuff. But I would love to get the CD one, if just to get the extra sort of information. But that would be within the book and stuff, right? So
Yeah.
those are the things that I mainly would want to get. Otherwise, I'd be satisfied with just the digital version of it. And having heard the release of Burning Up with Fever, it sounded really, really good. I mean, I know, if you compare it to the original, there's probably things we can compare that sound different. And by the way, if you haven't heard Julian's segment on it in the membership area, do take a listen to it. He did an excellent job talking about it, the significance of it, blah 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 blah, the things that were done to it, etc., etc. Julian always does a top shelf job on these sort of things, so do yourself a favor, check that out, and listen to the song too. It's available on Apple, even in a sort of sample form where you get like a good minute and a half of it.
It's up on YouTube. People can
Yeah,
hear
and there you go. So you
it's
can
fully there.
Yeah, so you can hear it in its glory, and it'll be worth getting, if just for those alternate versions as well, whether it's digitally, CD, or vinyl. For people who can afford the vinyl, I say go for it. I mean, I might just buy the album separately on vinyl as well when the time comes. But the CD version looks fantastic. Never give up on CD, my friends. CD is a medium that still is worth having. And I think that having this box set is a good option because it'll save you at least half the cost of the vinyl, and you still get a lot of the same tchotchkes and all those other things that Julian brought up. But you don't have to spend a kidney and a foot to get the vinyl. You can get the CD, right?
Yeah, you can spend someone else's kidney and foot. Always. Yeah. Thanks for the kind words about that. The full version of Burning Up with Fever as a single is out on streaming, and it has a scorching guitar solo in it. Absolutely scorching. Ken.
Oh, you already got me. Daniel.
Oh, I've lost track for the first time this episode. I'm
You're
surprised.
doing pretty good until now.
Doing pretty good.
I was doing
That's
good
pretty
there.
good.
Daniel, go ahead.
No, I enjoy the fact that they managed to deliver this kind of box set. I just wish they could do a box set for every album. I'm pretty satisfied with the 1997 remastered version of Dress to Kill. I think that sounds great. So I'm fine with that one. But it's cool to see additional material, and I really like the first track they released. The thing I enjoyed the most was actually, the off-the-cuff comments at the beginning of the song. When you hear them fooling around in the studio, I think that's great if they can leave that kind of stuff on. I don't know if it's Paul or Gene doing some sort of noise there in the beginning. I like that, and
that's Gene.
That's Gene. And as Julian mentioned, the solo is of course great, and in honor of Ace, it's a great track to put out. Just go and listen to that one. But just like Spotify, I'm from Sweden and I use Spotify, so I think I'll enjoy this one digitally. I'm looking forward to the Asylum and Animalize box sets, and those I might get, the real stuff for. But I'm enjoying listening to the music. I'm not into, a big book about Dress to Kill. I think I know most of the stuff I need to know about Dress to Kill. But I do understand that some fans want that stuff, and it's great that they finally released this one, and I'm all for it. So keep them coming. Keep me coming, keep them coming. And and then hopefully they'll release live in a month or two. So great stuff.
All right, so
Julian, sorry, can I ask you one thing? Mm-hmm. Sorry, I think it might be interesting to get your opinion on this too. I mean, as a talking point, people were talking about the Alive box set next, and when will that come out? Blah blah blah. But the question I have for you is that a lot of people, including myself, mentioned that they have Kobo and they have the Davenport. Is it? I guess for this one, the Iowa show or whatever.
Yeah, this is Kobo and the first show of Davenport.
Yeah. So I was just curious why they would have took those shows out of an Alive set, put it on here, and not have just had that all as a total complete version of Alive. You know what I mean? What do you think the mindset was on doing that?
Well, I think you have multiple ways that you can approach, celebrating albums. Mm-hmm. You could just do an Alive box set and package up Kobo, Cleveland, the two Davenports, and Wildwood. And there you go. That's your Alive box set. Now, should Dress to Kill be ignored? I don't think so. I think it's a meaningful album in the catalog. So when you look at the material that they have, and I don't know what they have, I don't know if they've got all of the shows, or whether all of the shows were usable. Just because they were recorded doesn't mean they're viable for commercial use. So my guess would be is they look at what they have and they balance it between what they want to do. And what they want to do, number one, is make money. So if there is another, box set separately with other shows from this repackaged in some way, and I know Eddie Kramer has made some comments about what might potentially also be coming.
Rehearsal?
Then it's business. It's a matter of business. I'm okay with it because I think Dress to Kill needs to be framed. I'm, that long-winded monologue I did for the members channel, I went into some of the detail about the demos on disc 2. So I think that has made it worthy of Dress to Kill being its own box set. And I'm sorry, the moment I saw this, that looks spectacular. Yeah, that makes me very, very happy. Every fan's going to have a different opinion. I mean, some fans would just be like, give me 5 raw shows. I don't even care if Eddie mixes them. And then I listen to, say, a flat, like I talk about in the Burning Up with Fever reference mix compared to the version that they released on Thursday. Yeah. Massive difference. I don't want to just listen to a flat reference release from 1975. I want Eddie Kramer to go back and put the effort in to make it work. So I think it's a win-win situation, but it's also a win-win-win in that the record label has to win financially in order for us to win as fans, and they're going to come first before us.
Thank you.
Does that answer the question?
Thank you, Julian.
And just for anyone who needs to know, in my opinion. Because again, I don't work for the record label. I don't have any insight into their mindset. That's just a guess of how I would approach it. So I forgot to do one thing. I forgot to ask you your favorite costume worn by Ace Frehley.
I know that right away. My favorite one easily is the Hotter Than Hell tour, that V-shaped thing that he had on there.
Yeah.
The very first time I saw that, I was like, wow, that looks really cool. I thought that was one of the most flashiest, kind of coolest thing. And mainly because, too, because Winterland was one of the shows that really impacted me as well. Like I thought that show was fantastic. So I always connected those two things together. So, and it's early, you know what I mean? You can still see the sort of, they're still working on things. They still haven't quite gotten to the final vision of what they wanted in their stuff. But I always loved the Hotter Than Hell. I know Daniel's shaking his head, thinking that I'm some foolish Canadian with my selection. But I have a soft spot for that. I'm curious to hear what Daniel would think.
Yeah, we all appreciate different things, but I think that's something that a 6th grader would do in a papier mâché course, trying to create something. To me, that's his worst costume. But it's cool that some fans enjoy that one. To me, it's actually the last Kiss costume that he ever wore in his original stint in Kiss. That's my favorite. The Creatures of the Night / the Elder costume. It's kind of toned down. It's a throwback to the early costumes that he wore, in '74.
And they're like running shoes, boots, those things.
Yeah. I don't like the shoes. I don't like the shoes, but we're talking the costume now.
Yeah.
And I guess the shoes are part of the costume, but the shoes are not good. But that the bolt going down his chest. And he always used some sort of shoulder pads. I guess he didn't have shoulders like me or Paul Stanley. He needed some, extra stuff on the shoulders. Some reinforcement, but it's not like on the dinosaur costume where he wears the big V thing. It's a pretty subtle. You don't even notice them if you don't pay attention. So I like that one. And I like black and silver. Not all those colors he wore during the dinosaur tour. Even though if you're into Marvel comics or DC comics, that might turn you on. But I like the simpleness of the final costume that he wore during the Elder. It was the best costume by far when it comes to the Elder. I mean, I kind of liked Eric Carr's one as well. pretty simple, but that costume, and I have to say also give some props to Tommy Thayer when he wore that one on one of the later tours. It looked great once again. So it was great to see that costume worn once again. So the Elder/Creatures costume, what a great costume.
All right, Ken, which Love Gun costume do you like the best?
I know. I do like the Love Gun one because that was really the first one.
I thought you were going to be definitely in with that because that was your first album. But what is
yeah,
it?
but then I've come to like some of the
Just
earlier ones too, like the one from the Dress to Kill era. I think is a really cool outfit where he had the kind of the rings, but they were kind of pointed straight up, and then the lightning bolts are going across his chest, and then the lightning bolts are also going down his legs. I thought that was a really cool one, but they were all really actually good, even from the beginning. So, but yeah, Love Gun's kind of a special one. It's more Star Trekky to me. Really the most shiny kind of spacey kind of look. So, but yeah, it's kind of like moon boots on that one too, right?
Yeah.
The puffiness to those, even the puffiness here, but
They're
the
like
puffiness
Uggs.
on the boots is cool. You could think, oh, you could probably kind of just float in there, kind of like in
bouncy
Phantom
boots.
of the Park or whatever.
I had put in the chat earlier that Elder was mine when someone, and I don't remember who it was, sorry, reminded me to do this part of the topic. And Daniel's gone with the Elder now, and I've had time to rethink the costume. Love Gun Alive 2 for me.
That's a good one.
Ken already said it. Moon boots. When I moved to America in December
pretty cool.
78, those images of moon boots were everywhere. Moon boots were the rage at the end of the 70s as I moved to the States. So that costume just resonates. I just had that little zap come together and connect. That's got to be it today. I could easily go with his silver suit from 78. I could easily go with his very first costume, the leather. Just the raw leather look. I think it was Daniel also said, black and silver, Kiss's colors, black and silver, leather and chrome, very much, but moon boots because of the emotional connection with moving to America the first time. All right, let's leave it there. Thank you, Kiss Army. God bless Ace Frehley. Thank you for spending time listening to the KissFAQ podcast today. All sales are final. There are no refunds. If you'd like, look us up on Facebook or come over to the message board and discuss the topics we've broadcast today. Don't forget to hit subscribe wherever you've listened to this show, and a like would very much be appreciated. We hope you'll join us again, but until then, remember, life's a radio. Turn it up to 10.